So fine. Good morning, everyone. Today you are going to do book review of the book that you had selected. You are supposed to do a PowerPoint presentation of the same. What you may do is you may opt for present now option in the Google Meet, right? So whoever's turn it is, the first thing that you do is you would switch on the PowerPoint and present it to the class so that we can see it on the screen, and then you may start your presentation by unmuting yourself. All right. So we already have an order that we had fixed for book review. We already have an order which we have fixed for book review. I hope you are ready. Or do you want some time to look at your presentation and then we can start? Because in between, I will not give time. Let's say the first person is presenting, then we'll have a little feedback session, and then next, the second person presents. I'll not give time for you to revise and look back. Do you wish to look back at your book review that you have written? You want to read, you want to do some revision? Should I give you 5 minutes? Thank you, Dhruv, for replying. Let's do one thing. It is 9:41. By 9:50, you complete your revision work. And as I see, there are less number of people today. You may inform your friends as well. They'll lose their marks if they don't attend this session. Okay, nobody has informed me about not joining. So whatever number of people we are present, we are doing book review. I'm giving you 10 minutes of time. 9:50. In between 9:50 and 9:55, we will start with whatever number of people we are present and we are doing. Okay. Hemang wants to start first. Hemang, according to the order, your roll number is fourth. You are the fourth person who will present. But if 1, 2, and 3 are not there, then you will be the first one. Okay, according to the number of people present, it should be first would be Geenal, and then second would be Hemang. Okay, I'm giving you 10 minutes to go back, prepare yourself, have your PPT handy, right? And then we will start the book review presentations. I think now we should be ready. So the first book review was to be done by Nirav Gilani, enrollment number 24. I think Nirav is not there. So the second person who's doing is enrollment number 38, Geenal.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, you may start when you are ready. You may start with showing us the PPT and then you may start doing. Okay.
Hello. Ma'am, it is visible. Hello.
Yes, Chinal.
Okay, today I'm going to do the book review of Wings of Fire. Its author is Arun Tiwari. Genre of book is autobiography, language English, publisher Universities Press, publication date 1999, media type paperback, and it has book pages of 180 pages. This biography is capable of inspiring even a common man into being a technologist. It is a very well compressed novel which revolves around the life of Mr. Kalam. He was an extraordinary scientist as he shares his experience in the smallest details of his life. I like the way the book has been put together along with the delicate facts of his personal life. Uh, in this book, he has also, we can see his family background, the pain and the suffering he went through during his journey is very much commendable. The day I finished reading this book, such an influential personality impacted me very deeply, and it gave me a glimpse of how the power of positivity thinking can help achieve all the impossible things. Mainly, this autobiography compressed balanced details of technology and political challenge faced Dr. Kalam in aeronautical and space programs. It is also a success story of Dr. Kalam's participative management particles. This book offers an important lesson of finding success from failures of Indian space and rocket infrastructure programs. It is also a good presentation of the role of other renowned scientists molding our country's future. This book is full of information is recommended from my side for every student because this book has influence and power to motivate any person to stand out in the life. It is also a unique model of accomplishing one's goal while fulfilling the promise to its country. Awards and honors. Kalam received so many awards through his life. First, he received 7 honorary doctorates from 40 universities. The government of India honored him with the Padma Bhushan in 1981 and the Padma Vibhushan in 1990 for his work with ISRO and DRDO, and as his role as a scientific advisor to the government. As a sign of his popularity among Indian youth, MTV India recently nominated him as one of the prospects for his MTV India Youth Icon for the year 2006 award. He has also many awards like H.K. Flores Award for Excellence in S&T, Padma Bhushan, National Nehru Award, Ramanujan Award, Padma Vibhushan, V.S. Sarkar Awards, Bharat Ratna, etc. In my personal opinion, we should human always learn from our own experiences from and not from the others. That could there could be many things that we can learn from his book, but this is what I learned the most. First off, be humble. As we do suffer from many problems emotionally and mentally, we might get angry all the time due to the financial problems also. It will distract our thoughts, personality, and everything. So please try to be humble. Don't show it off. If you have achieved things in your life, then don't show to others. This world will learn and praise you. If you are praising yourself, then what is the point of achievement? Compete from yourself. We should always compete from ourselves. The moment we start competing from each other, it will block your thoughts and you might lose the goal you are looking at. Thank you.
Okay, does anyone want to give a feedback to Jinal? The audience is so nice. Okay, no feedback at all. Okay, the selection of the book that you made was good. We have all known about Wings of Fire and Abdul Kalam and all. The way you presented was also nice. But just a suggestion, do not worry, it does not affect your marking part or the marks that you are given. A suggestion is that you take a little breathing space in between when you are presenting. Okay, a little pause. What was happening is you were moving very smoothly, transiting from one idea to another, but it was going a little fast. So next time, for any other subject, when you make a presentation, make sure you have a little breathing space after one or two points. Right? What it does is it will help the audience to take in what you are saying. Right? And if you see the time also, presentations usually should last 3 to 5 minutes. That time also will be covered when you have little breathing space. Otherwise, it was very nicely done. Okay. Now, can we have like the third person was to be Ravi. Ravi is present? No. If Ravi is not there, then we have got the next person is Hemang. Hemang is there?
Okay. Yes,
Yeah.
ma'am.
Whenever you are ready, you start. Okay. You just switch on the screen and you set up and you may start. I'll not disturb you in between. I'll keep myself mute.
I am audible. Yes, ma'am. It's visible.
Yes, Hemang, it is visible and you are audible as well. Whenever you are ready, you start.
Okay. Good morning. Today I am presenting a book review of The Big Leap, which is written by Gay Hendricks. Here is my some information. The general information the book is here. The title of the book is The Big Leap: Conquer Your Hidden Fear and Take Life to Next Level. The name of author is Gay Hendricks. Gay Hendricks is born on 1945 in Florida. He is professional physiotherapist as well as teacher and writer. The book publication date is 21st April 2009. Publisher is HarperCollins Company. Edition is first, which I refer. General of the book is self-help book, and number of pages is 224. What is the story about the book is The Big Leap is a New York Times best-selling author Gay Hendricks reveals a simple yet comprehensive program for overcoming over one barrier to happiness and fulfillment, providing a clear path to achieve our true potential and attaining not only financial success but success in love and life. What is interesting about book is engaged at emotional level with stories. The book is filled with uh, years of counseling and coaching that illustrate the point perfectly and also make the book very relatable. We engage at emotional level with stories that makes sense to us level much deeper than our in- intercultural consolation. So it's powerful way to make our concept real and memorable to reader. Second, orange of the title page. I also like the way of the orange of the title picks up that place of color against monochrome petal. Orange is associated with optimism, enthusiasm, happiness, and creativity and success. Perfect sublimism message for this book. Third is each of the chapter has a title providing a title more information on exactly what is containing. Fourth is the book include a bonus in the form of appendix, book baby step and big leaps. My early adventure as an entrepreneur. It is focused on entrepreneurial development of the young and its apparently heartless home spoon specifically allow him to get benefit of our planet defend. This message, this central message is create things that makes people live better. It is the mark perfectly against the illustration of the power of storytelling. In the book, he talks about four zones of major activity. The first zone is zone of incompetence. Second is zone of confidence. The third one is the zone of excellence, and fourth is the zone of genius. He talk about first zone, the zone of incompetence. Incompetence is we are not good at doing anything in this zone. We are wasting a lot of time, energy, and money in this zone. The second zone talking about this is not area where we are good at a task, but so is everyone else. The third one is talking about an area where we can make a lot of money because we are good at it. But Henrik suggests we move into last zone. And last zone is talking about where we are at our best, we are uniquely qualified to do this activity. My personal opinion in regarding this book is I really enjoyed this book. It made me think about a lot of things and brought into focus things that I may be doing prevent myself from being as successful as would be. The strategies Henrik there can be more successful. I would be definitely recommend this book to others. I thought it was quite eye-opening. Look at my own personal opinion. Life is comparison to an example provided. Who is it for? This is a not niche book. As Ken gave writes in this introduction, I haven't met person yet who didn't suffer at least a little bit more. Because the themes are so universal, the book will speak people in very different situations. What they are likely to have a common in sense that are they were living belong their potential, or perhaps just a vague and dissatisfaction with what is the key message. They argue that each of us has upper limit of the amount of happiness and success with which we can compatible. We are pushed up against it. We tend to find a way of sabotaging and ourselves, our deflecting the positive emotion to take ourselves back into the compatible, unchallenging world to a low level disconnect. It's from a self protection. It will he plays small, we can't go far. But identifying thing and overcoming this self-limit belief and behavior enable us move to our zone of genius. Our belief into life of love, abundance, and success. Here are some resources for ebook, and I giving rating to this book is 4.8 out of 5. Thank you.
Thank you, Hemang. Do we have any other feedbacks? Anybody wants to give Hemang a feedback? Fine. Hemang, I'm really impressed with the way you took the information. You talked about things which was not there on the screen as well, and that's nice. But the energy that you had in the beginning started to go down towards the end. Okay, try to maintain the same kind of energy that you start with till the end. Okay. What happens is if your energy level goes down, the audience will think now even he is getting bored. Why should we pay attention? I'm not saying that you had that intention, but unintentionally it sounds like that. So one thing that you need to take care is the way you begin very nicely, very freshly, it should end in the same way. Otherwise, it is very well done. So the next person is enrollment number 46. Mohammed Faiz. Is he there? Yes. You may start when you are ready.
Is it visible now? Hello.
I cannot see anything on the screen, Faiz. Give me a moment. Yes, it was visible for a moment. It went.
Is it visible?
Yes, it is. Just turn it into the screen slide mode. It's right now in the PowerPoint. Slide share. Yeah. Now you may start whenever you are ready.
Yeah, good morning. Today I'm going to give a book review of Rich Dad Poor Dad. Here are the two images which differentiate the rich dad and the poor dad that I like the most. Is the front page of Rich Dad Poor Dad. There is a photo of Robert T. Nagasaki, and there is a label best #1 personal finance book of all the time seller. Yeah. What the rich teach kids about money? Can anyone say? Yes, from the audience.
How to invest them?
Yeah. According to me, what they read it that the poor and middle class do not teach. There are some details of Rich Dad and Poor Dad. Author Robert T. Kiyosaki, publisher Plata Publish LLC, printed in USA. First edition is 1997. Its category is about economics. Author Robert Toro Kiyosaki was born in April 8, 1947. Is a Japanese-American investor, businessman, self-help author, motivational speaker, financial literacy advice, and occasional financial company. Here's the picture of the author. There are 10 lessons in the book Rich Dad Poor Dad. The fourth lesson, learn to listen, pay yourself first. Thirdly, buy luxury last, not first. Fourth, reduce expenses and liabilities. Fifth, aim for more valuable assets. Sixth, be in control over yourself emotion. Seventh, work to learn, don't work to earn. Eighth, you become what you study, read a lot. Ninth, reinvest excess cash generated by assets. Then tenth, surround yourself with people smarter than you. How do dads offer me the choice of contrasting points of view, one of a rich man and one of a poor man? The silent feature of the books are financially literacy. Concepts are explained using the number, pictures, and metaphors. Mantra to become rich, informative plus inspiring, down to earth. Contrast. They are the difference between poor and rich dad, which are informed in the book. Poor dad get job in good company, where rich dad create or buy a company. The law of money is the root for all evil, where the lack of money is the root of all evil. Poor dad say, I can't afford it. Rich dad, how can I afford it? Poor dad play safe, and rich dad learn to manage risk. Works for money, money works for him. These are difference between poor and being broken. Broke is temporary, poor is internal. Why teach financial literacy? It is not important how much money you make, it is how much money you keep. The earning. Understand the difference between assets and liability. Financial statements. Poor middle class financial statement. Their income are paid in checks. The expenses are tax, mortgage, fixed expenses. Whereas rich class financial statement, income are dividends, invents, rental incomes. There is a nice statement that I would like in the book. Mind your own business. Financial struggle is often the result of people working all their life for someone else, owner or shareholder of the company, government, banks. History of taxes and power of corporation. Robin Hood said that collect it from rich and give it to the poor. Learn to minimize the taxes. The rich invest money to make good use of time, identify an opportunity everyone else missed. Two type of investors are there: buy of packed investors, the professional investors. Work to learn, don't work for money. Learn skill like PR, marketing, and advertising. Take a second job, it is means learning more. Overcoming obstacles. 5 obstacles to financial independence. Fear. Second is laziness, bad habits, and ignorance. 6 comment educated poor dad always made. I am not interested in money. Secondly, I can't afford it. I will never be wealthy. Investing is risky. Money isn't everything. I'm too busy making a living to play with my kids. The power of getting something for nothing. The power of focus. There is a best saying, when you focus on what you want, everything else falls away. Why you should read. Broaden your vision, redefine your view about money, how to start and run a company, In short, if you really have dreams to touch the sky, this book is highly recommended for you. This is the best saying by author. If you want to be rich, think big, think differently. Conclusion: not everyone seems pleased with the rather blunt why Robert Kiyosaki explained these money-making principles in his book, and I partially agree how there is much knowledge to be gained if you are able to look past that lure. Now let us see some summary of the book.
Income, assets that brings money into their pockets as a form of passive income. Passive income is something that earns money that doesn't require you to trade your time. So in other words, you would be earning money even as you're sleeping. Examples of assets are businesses that doesn't require your presence, stocks, bonds, mutual funds, income generating real estate, royalties, notes, and anything else that has value that produces income. As mentioned before, Poor Dad was making quite a lot of money from his job, but his expenses seemed to always keep up with his income, never allowing him to invest in assets. As a result, his liabilities, such as his mortgages and credit card debts, grew greater over time. And this is the fault of having income equals expense, and assets is less than liabilities. And sadly, this is what drove Poor Dad into debt, even after he passed away. On the other hand, Rich Dad's personal financial statement reflects the result of a life dedicated to investing and minimizing liabilities. So he has income that is greater than expense because of assets is greater than liabilities. This is practically why the rich are getting richer. Their assets generate more than enough income to cover expenses, with the balance reinvested into the asset column. The asset column continues to grow, and therefore the income grows with it. You see, both dads worked hard, but they have opposing attitudes and thoughts. One dad recommended study hard so you can find a good company to work for. The other recommended study hard so you can find a good job to buy. One dad said, the reason I'm not rich is because I have kids. The other said, the reason I must be rich is because I have you kids. One said, when it comes to money, play it safe and don't take risks. The other said, learn to manage your risk. One said, I can't afford that. The other said, how can I afford that? Although both men had tremendous respect for education and learning, they disagreed on what they thought was important to learn. Robert learned from Rich Dad that the truth about the general population, their lives are run forever by two emotions, fear and greed, that keeps them stuck in a pattern of get up, go to work, pay bills, get up, go to work, and pay bills. Fear has them in this trap of working, earning money, working, earning money, and hoping fear will go away of not having money. Instead of confronting the fear, they react emotionally instead of using their heads. The other emotion, which is desire, some call it greed, is a second reason why people also work for money. They desire money for the joy that it can buy. But the joy that the money brings is often short-lived and soon needs more money for more joy, more pleasure, more comfort, and more security. You see, that same fear and desire is what makes a lot of people be so fanatical about going to school for a better chance of a high-paying job. But don't be discouraged. An education and a job are important, but it won't exactly handle that fear. To handle that fear, you need to learn the power of money, not be afraid of it. Unfortunately, most schools don't teach about this, and if you don't learn it, you'll become a slave to money. Ignorance of money can cause so much greed and so much fear that can lead you into life's biggest trap of constantly working. Rich Dad said, learn to use your emotions to think, not think with your emotions. Examples of emotional thinking are like, I need something I'm missing here. This is working today. How long can you survive? You might laugh at me and say, I no longer work for money. Money works for me. Later.
Thank you. Any questions?
Yes.
Yeah, please.
Was the poor guy able to become rich?
Yeah, after publishing this book, Rich Dad Poor Dad, he become a millionaire.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. I really liked that you remembered that you are supposed to ask questions. And I know there's some disturbance on your side, but I really like that you kept little time for questions. And thank you for the question from the audience. Dhruv took quite a good interest into it. That he asked the question. He also talked about things when Mohammed Faiz was asking a question. He replied from the audience. So nice way of trying to reciprocate with your friend. Okay, that's very nice. That's how you actually help your friend to develop. I really like the use of the video that you chose, and you took it towards the end of the book review so that the audience can connect. The audience can, see the lessons with a little animation happening. People like that, right? So very well done book review. A little advice: speak more confidently. I know, I understand that because it's a little online thing, so things like that would matter, but always look at your para language. This is what we are talking about. When you cannot see the person, it's your voice. It's your voice that has to show the confidence that you are carrying. I know you are confident people, I really know that, right? But how do you display it? Do you display it with the use of your para language? Remember unit 1, right? That unit is going to be with you forever. Whenever I'll talk about a reference from unit 1, para language. Find little confidence in your in your voice, so that it can impress the people. Otherwise, it was done very well. I really like the use of the video. 1, 2, the PPT was all bullet points, so that was also very nice. And 3, you put the scope of, in the initial phases, you tried to involve the audience and see whether the audience is listening or not by asking a question. And towards the end, I also like the time where you given little space for the audience to ask you questions, right? So you tried to do a two-way communication. That's really nice, and it's appreciated from my side. Right. So the next person that we have is, according to our list over here, we have enrollment number 31, Vatsal. Is Vatsal there? Vatsal is not there according to what I see in the list. Next, we have Mahek, enrollment number 2, if he is ready.
Yes, ma'am. Give me a minute, please.
Yes, no problem.
It is visible, right? Hello.
Yes, Mahek, it's visible.
Okay.
You may start.
Good morning, everybody. So today in book review section, I'm Michael Julia. I'm going to review the book named The Theory of Everything, The Origin and Fate of the Universe. This book is written by the famous doctor, Dr. Stephen Hawking. The book explains the numerous phenomena about the gigantic and beautiful universe which you have, such like black holes and every other things that it's going in the universe. So something about the book. The author, I already told, Dr. Stephen Hawking, and the publication is Jacob Publications. The price of the book is $199. The book is 132 pages and contains English language in it, and the genre of the book is science. So I want to start the book reviewing, but in initial stage, I want to clear some concept of the books. That is, there are basically 3 to 4 concepts that I have already written in it. First is fabric of space-time. The fabric of space-time is, according to the general relativity theorem, that it is a relational thing. The duration of anything that's happening in space. Second thing is gravity. The fundamental force attracts the mass towards each other. The fundamental forces that are acting and all over the universe. The base concept of the book is gravity in this book. Other thing is mass, the space occupied by an object which have certain properties such as like density, color, and etc. like that. And fourth is velocity, the movement of an object according to reference of any frame, or you can say a reference of point. The movement according to that is known as velocity. It is a reference. The first chapter of the book is idea of the universe. So the universe is, according to theoretical cosmologist, it is a 13 billion light years. First of all, what is light year? Light year is a unit that scales the distance. The light have a maximum speed of 300,000 kilometers in a vacuum, and that speed of light in 1 year into 13 billion, that is 13 billion light years. Is a scale of our observable universe. Recently, they have told that it is expanding. So how it is expanding? In initial stage of universe, where universe born, the Big Bang had happened, and Big Bang was a before Big Bang there was a massive black hole that exploded, and it is known as Big Bang. And Big Bang is still ongoing, and Big Bang expands the matter that have exploded in that, and the speed of everything. So speed is our Earth is aroundly moving about 600,000 kilometers an hour, and it is relational to the sun. So the speed of everything is so much high that you cannot assume it, and you cannot scale it in a particular manner. That everything is in a reference point. The size of the universe is so large that our sun and our solar system, it's a grain of salt in entire world. You can scale it like that. You can have a reference of like that. So the size of universe is so massive. That's all for the first chapter. The second chapter is the expanding universe. So I've already told in chapter 1 that the Big Bang happened. So the explosion that happened in Big Bang was the initial stages of the Big Bang that had happened. The explosion have so much higher energy. So it have a heat energy, it has an kinetic energy, and many other energies like explosive energy, and so and so forth. By the virtue of energies, the speed is also very high. So it is expanding exponentially throughout the 13 billion light years, and the mass that have been exploded in Big Bang is so humongous that everything which we have seen in the entire universe till now is a product of the Big Bang explosion. And after the explosion, it was only the gas clouds over the space, and when a gravitational pull started to enact that gas masses, then come the galactic objects that we can see today, like suns and stars and comets and all that stuff. So chapter 2 contains all these things. Next up, we have black holes. So in a Big Bang, I have already told that it was a big black hole. How does a black hole created? When a star collapses in its core in itself, when a gravitational pull is so much high than the kinetic energy and fusion energy, then a black hole was created. The black hole can contain much higher value of masses, like an entire solar mass that we have a solar system, the mass of the solar system in just a glass of water. This much mass is shrinked in just a cup of water, and the gravitation pull was which is so high that we can calculate in we assume at infinite. Gravitation pull is so high that light cannot escape, no matter can escape out of the black hole. The mass, uh, the background, the picture which is in background, it is from Chandra X-ray telescope, which is located in outer galactic region in our solar system. And you can see that a black hole is not so black. It contains a light, and in center, it cannot it do not emits light from the center of the black hole. Uh, as I said, light cannot escape, and that's why the black is you can see in the center. Uh, the tiniest photo, the circle one, this, sorry, this photo is a refined photo of the background one, and it is the black spot you can see is the size of our entire solar diameter. So this much mass it has, and it is so massive that it can eat whatever it wants. An entire light years they can pull in itself. The type of black holes. The type of black holes, that are many types of black holes, like spinning black holes. The photo in this region, if you can see my cursor, the spinning black hole can emit fumes, or you can see a light of energy in so much light years that you can see it in a so great. This, the line you can see, it is a, sorry, it is a emission light which emits by spinning black holes. They are static black holes. They are neutron stars, and all that stuff is happening in our universe. The photo in this is approximately 15 million light years far, and the scientists have recently seen it in 2019 September. And if you think what happened after black hole life ends, so it evaporates itself in the space that's that have been proposed by Dr. Stephen Hawking. And he proposed that a black hole evaporate itself, and black hole can also explode in itself. That called nebula. The nebula is the explode when a gravitational pull is so high, the black hole cannot even shrink in itself, and it exploded it itself. And you can see the picture of this. This is called Crab Nebula. This is so beautiful, and the outer region of this is Crab Nebula. The nebula is called the explosion of a black hole is called nebula, and the outer ring you can see is matter which is so densely packed when black hole shrink itself, and you can say the metals that we have: gold, we have aluminium. The firstly, in a big bang, there was no metal, no nothing, only hydrogen and helium. After the black hole have created, they make these elements that we have using right now in our solar system. So this is one of the explosion after lifetime of black hole. This is Crab Nebula. Next chapter is black hole aren't black. So yes, Stephen Hawking said that the black hole evaporates in itself, and he proposed an expression called Stephen radiation theory, which is called which contains the evaporation of matter in black hole. Yes, it has a very much gravitation pull that anything cannot escape, but the evaporation happens in black hole, and gradually and steadily the black hole diameter getting reduces, and the glow each emits like you can see in an X-ray diagram here, which is captured by Chandrasekhar X-ray observatory, and the black hole are not so black. It contains a ring around it. The ring is the light which is trapped in the gravitational pull by the black holes, and the mid part of the black hole that is black, it's Schrödinger shield radius, the radius in which the anything cannot escape, even the light. That's why the middle part was black, and everything else you can see is glowing. So this is what is there in this chapter. Next chapter is the origin and fate of the universe. The origin, as I told you, that initially there was only a black hole, and it exploded, which is called Big Bang, and eventually the supermassive novas and supernovas and all that stuff happens. Supernovas are the explosion and the clouds that contains massive mass and gases which also have gravitation energy, and eventually it becomes a star. This picture in a background is a called a, it's, I don't remember the name, sorry, but the cloud is containing a million and millions of stars in it, and it is creating nebula. I think I'm remember what I remember. It is a cloud which generates and which give birth to stars, and it is captured by Hubble telescope 1996. The supernovas and nebulas are in this picture, and as I told you, the galactic objects have been creating in the clouds after the Big Bang, and after the lifetime of every galactic object, it comes into a black hole, the gravitation pull itself, and the every object dies and become black hole, and after that Big Bang happens again. So the theoretical cosmologists have told that every 56 billion light years there is new Big Bang happening. So this is all about this chapter. Next chapter is the direction of time. So in general world, we do not consider the time as a direction or a dimension, but in quantum and cosmic world, the time is have its own dimension. The dimension, what I mean is, we have x, y, and z direction in the axis in engineering and everything, in a 3D, 3-dimensional world. But in cosmic and quantum world, there are multiple dimensions. There are n number of dimension is there, and you can scroll the time in it, and you can go everywhere and every time which you want, in future, in past, or anything. The arrow can be reversed is still a question. This book asks a question of us, that the arrow can be reversed or not. So if we the time, the axis, can we reverse it? As you know, in 3 dimension, the positive x and negative x is there, but is it a negative time is there or not? This book ask us a question like this. So the chapter ends on this question: the arrow can reverse or not. Next chapter, the theory of everything. Everything is impossible, he said. He is author. Uh, he tries to explain us everything in a known universe, but he cannot explain the coming invention or exploration that we have going to be exploring in the emerging universe. So he told us that partially I can give some theories or everything, but I cannot explain everything in just a one book. The general theory of relativity Einstein have given us in 1915. he told about that E is equals to mc square. That means a small mass can generate a massive amount of energy in it by the virtue of a force and gravitation pull. And a quantum theory in 1946, uh, the modern physics have emerged a quantum theory that is a new emerging branch of physics right now. So Dr. Stephen Hawking says that if we combine general relativity and quantum theory, then we can assume that we can get a single equation by which we can solve everything and anything in entire universe. So thank you everyone. Do I have any question from your side?
Does this theory violate first law of thermodynamics?
Yes, it does, because the in a general world which we live, we have a frame of reference in 3D dimension. We live in 3-dimensional world, but in quantum and cosmic level, we do not have 3 dimension. We have multiple dimensions. So every physical theorem is going to be violated in that. So that's why the gravitation pull, the black hole is not that have been explored yet. It is going to be explored more and more in coming years. Any other question, please?
No, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Do we have any other feedback? Okay, I was actually very curious to know how you are going to do a book review of this book. It's typically a very hard book, and we do a detailed study of this book at the master's level in literature studies, right? So I was very curious to know, but the way you handled the book was extremely appreciated. You took up pictures, you took the pain to have pictures to explain concepts. Usually, you know, when you have pictures or photographs, just give me a minute, I'll continue with the feedback. I just need to plug in, just a minute. You literally took the quote which says a picture speaks 1,000 words and you involve it into your book review. That was really nice. And I liked the presentation, which was a contrast of dark and light, what the book is all about. You know, light, time, dimensions, that I could see in the presentation. I think you were using Prezi.
No, ma'am, it's WPS. I have used the already report writing section, and I have removed the background and I have inserted the pictures in it.
Okay, that's lovely, because it's, you know, usually most of us would go to PowerPoint or we'd use the same designs, but I really like the way you took the effort to make it look different. And whatever you use, because I think Prezi also has something similar. So it's appreciated that you did a very good job on the book, because it's a little hard, tough a book to read and then very tough to explain it to somebody. So appreciated what was done. Very nice.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, let's see who is the next person. After Mahak, 7, 8 is enrollment number 12, Vasu. Is he there? And if there, is he ready? No? No problem. Then we have got enrollment number 35.
Okay, ma'am.
Manthan. You may start when you are ready. Okay.
Visible to my screen?
Yes, Manthan, your screen is visible. But yeah, okay.
Hello guys, book review. I have to stop wearing and start learning living. Book name How to Stop Worrying and Start Living. Book author Dale Carnegie. Published in 2017. Publication Manjun Publishing House. Number of pages 226. Summary: this book has been written for people who is confused and worried about everything every time. The author has mentioned 60 ways 16 ways to avoid concern and stress. Give you a number of practical test the formula for solving situations. Second, shows you how to eliminate 50% of your business worries immediately. Next, bring your 7 way to cultivate a mental attitude that will bring you peace and happiness. So you have to lessen financial worries. Explain a law that will outlaw many of your worries. Next, tell you how to turn a citizen to your advantage. So how to housewife can avoid fatigue and keep looking young. Give 4 working habits that will help prevent fatigue and worry. Tell you how to add or add and 1 hour a day to your working life. So you have to avoid emotional upheavals. Give you the stories of scores of men and women who tell you in their own words how they stop the worrying and start dealing. You gave Alfred Elder's prescription for curing melancholia in 14 days. Give you the 21 words that enable that world famous physician Sir William Osher to banish worry. Explain the 3 magic steps that Willis H. Carey, founder of the air conditioning industry, used to conquer worry. So you have to use that William James called the sovereign curve of worry. Curve for worry. Give you detail of how many famous men conquered worry. Men like Arthur Wells, Suzelberg, publisher of the New York Times, Herbert H. Hawkes, former dean of the Columbia University, Odor Trade, chairman of the board of higher education, New York City, Jack Dempsey, Konya Mack, Roger Bowson, Edmund Bird, Henry Ford, Jenny Ortiz, Jesse Pinyard, John D. Rockefeller. Personal opinion. Chosen as the March April reading selection for the inspiration book group at the Westport branch. God will make a way. That to do when you don't know what to do. Record 16 principles for dealing with persistent life problems that might at first appear hopeless. The 16 principles are included in the book. Part 2 reveals the principles at work in areas of life such as addiction and depression. Review I really enjoyed this book. Truly enjoyable. It's quite an easy read and concepts are clear. Agree with you in 4th chapter. Tell you how to add 1 hour a day to your working life. Thank you.
Thank you, Manthan. Do we have any feedback for him? Okay, Manthan, one thing that I would like to tell you is the information, the way you did the book review was very nice. But please have a little breathing space. It was going continuous. You have to make the person feel that there is a full stop. Okay, so take some pauses in between to make your speech more, what do we say, more better. What you did was nice, but to improvise. That's the only feedback I'll give. I know it's a little new thing, so we do not know how much, at what speed should we go, or at what speed should we stop. but this is something that you can keep in mind for other subject presentations. All right. Next, we have enrollment number 26, Briz.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, if you're ready, you may start.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, it is visible.
It's just a minute. Huh? Yes, it is.
Okay. Good morning, friends. Today I'm going to do a book review on the book The 7 Habits of Highly Effective Peoples, which has been written by Stephen R. Covey. The book tells about the 7 habits which are normally being done by the successful peoples. They do all these 7 habits to become a successful or a great person to do in life. The title, The 7 Habits of the Highly Effective Peoples. Author is Stephen R. Covey. Its publisher is Simon and Clusters. Its edition is 13th anniversary. The first publication date of these books was 1989. It was 375 pages. The generic is self-help book. As you can see, the books has a big logo of its name, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective Peoples, powerful lessons in personal change. In these books, Conway describes the 7 habits of successful peoples. Habits are the activities that we repeatedly do in the same manners, day after day. Our character is a composite of our habits. If you want to become successful, you need to adopt these 7 habits. Some of the informations by the book's author. The author says that whatever your present situation is, you are not your habit. You can replace all destructive habits with the new habits of effectiveness, happiness, and trust-based relationships. There are many honest people in this world like you who are willing to change the destructive habits. You just needs to examine and find out your bad habits to, to replace them with these 7 habits. The 7 habits described in these books are based on the natural laws, and if you adopt them, they will surely bring the maximum long-term benefits results for you. Um, After describing the importance of the attitude and the behavior, the author relates the 7 most effective habits that are following. Like my friend Faiz mentioned the book about the rich dad and the poor dad. The rich dad may don't have these 7 habits or may have these 7 habits, or the poor dad who wants to become the rich dad may read these 7 habits. The first habit is be productive. The second one, begin with the end in mind. Third, put first thing first. Fourth, think win-win. Fifth, seek first to understand, then to be understood. Sixth, synergize. Seven, shape your show. The first one I'm going to explain is be productive. The most important thing that the human being have is their ability to think. Think is the most powerful weapon, or can be said anything that is given to the human by the gods. Animals do not have this ability. Only humans have the freedom to choose their thoughts. You can control your mind. You have the ability to control your moods, feelings, and thoughts. And by doing this, you can change your circumstances and conditions. You can take action and make things happen. What means proactive means taking we have to take in responsibility to do whatever we are thinking of to become a successful life. You have to take actions and things happen. The suggests to focus on what you control. Instead, spend your time focus on you and actions to reduce your problems. However, the problems can do something to reduce them, while the other problems just occur in your life. They came and go in their own time. You don't have any control on them. This was the first one. Now I'm going to second one. Begin with the end in the mind. You need to imagine what the others people are saying and thinking about you. The things you want them to say about you are your core values. So from now, you should work on those values. The characteristics would like them to have seen in you. What achievements and contributions would you want them to remember? The thing you want them to say about you. This, you should develop a personal mission statements that focus on what you want to be and do in your life. That is the main goal. Where we end should be the starting of our the most motive of our life. The end is the start. Now the third one will be the put first things first. The first thing first is the most powerful and effective habit. This habit is of time and life management, how we manage the life or how we do our schedules on time in from dusk to dawn. You should ask yourself this question: what one thing could you do that if you do on a regular basis, what makes a tremendous positive difference in your life? All the things you do can be divided into two categories, that are either urgent and important or important. You should not spend time doing unimportant tasks. Set priority to become more productive. Doing urgent important tasks before doing the unurgent tasks. You should remember yourself the Pareto's principles states that 80% of the results flow out of 20% of the activities. You need to focus on those important 20% activities that generate 80% results. Uh, the fourth one is think win-win. Think win-win habit teaches us to work together to seek mutual benefits. These habits encourage you to see others peoples as a cooperative rather competitive. It is based on the theory that there is a plenty in this world for everybody, and one person success will not be achieved at the expense of the success of others. Normally, people think that if I win, you lose. Most people have been deeply scripted in their win-lose mentally since birth. Every child, a normal, is considered aging from 3 to 8 years. Children thinks that I want to win, I want to win, I don't want to get lose. They cry when they lose. They think depressed when they think I will be going to lose. But most people have been to become more effective. You should work with others people to get leverage of the abilities and strength of other people. Think that is a zero become more effective. You should people, which is essential to become useful. The fifth one is seek first to understand, then to be understood. The most important factor in a good communication is listening carefully what the other people is saying. They don't listen what the other people is saying. Instead, they are listening in their mind what they are going to say. Right now, I
I can say that some of them are listening to my voice and some are doing their own work. Unfortunately, people spend most of their time to improve their speaking, writing, or reading skills. I'm giving an example. A good salesperson first understands the need of other people. A good doctor first understands the problem of a patient. A good lawyer first gathers all the facts to understand the situation. They Hello, am I audible?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you, Dhruv. I'm starting from the start. The fifth one is seek first to understand, then to be understood. The most important factor in a good communication is listening carefully. What the other people is saying, they don't listen what the other people is saying. Instead, they are thinking in their mind what they are going to say next. Right now, I can say that I am talking right now, and some of the peoples are doing their own work or mentally available at some another place. Giving an example of this, a good salesperson first understands the need of others. A good doctor first understands the problem of the patients. A good lawyer first gathers all the facts to understand the situations. These peoples first listen, then do their work. The author says that if you want to become effective, you first need to listen and understand what the other people is saying. If you want to become a good listener, you need to first listen to other people what they are thinking, then you need to tell them what you are thinking. The next one is synergize. uh, the synergize can be defined as the whole is greater than the sum of its parts. According to this principle, 1 plus 1 equals to 3 or more. Let me give you an example of it. You plant two you plant two plants together, they will grow better than if they are separated. Two pieces of wood together will hold more weight together than they will hold separately. The way one man and one woman bring a child into this world is synergized. To be effective, we must value the physical difference between people to create new opportunities for each others. Synergize is almost as if a group of people completely wish to work together to create some productive things. Synergize is making improvements and creating something new with the cooperations of others. We need to work in a cooperative manner with each other. Now the seventh habit is sharpen the saw. This encourage you to take some time off to improve your skills. Like we have to, when we are sawing the wood, we are making the wood more beautiful or in a better manner to place in our home or anywhere else. Like that, we need to take our some time to improve our own skills by sharpening it. The greater assets you have is only you. Your personal productive will decrease without proper care. The author recommends that you need to invest some time and money on yourself to improve your skills. By meaning of physically, that means healthy exercise, we can improve our physical appearance. Spiritually, by meditation and regular literatures, we can improve it. On mental basis, we can formal educations, seminars, books, and autobiographies can help us to make our mind more proactive. On a social or emotional basis, we have leadership, communications, and cooperative tasks to do to have a sharpened mind. final thought of these books from my side will be it's a classics, but because it talks about one thing that gives us a long-term change habits. Most important, start applying what you are learning. Remember, to learn and not to do is really not to learn. To know and not to do is really not to know. And that's where you have to start. Start with yourself, change from the inside out. These 7 habits do talk about yourself somewhere. So starts learning that can give you your way to success is something that attracts people to you. These 7 habits can highly change your life from the way you are to the way you are going to become in future. Uh, my ratings for these books can be 4 out of 5. And thank you. Any questions you guys have now?
Yes.
Yes, Mike.
Uh, do we need to think every time we start new thing about everyone?
What?
Do we need to think every time we start new thing that what people will say about it?
Once you have started a new things to make a success in it, you have always remember and you will always will be placed in that manner to start. Yeah, I am doing this way, that I have to do like this way, and I am going to do like this way. That's a proper way to start a new things. Before to start a new thing, we need to think, we need to apply in a virtual manner, we need to apply in a virtual, like a virtual place to do a start. Mike, is that or anything else you want to ask?
Oh, that's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Briz. Examples that you gave were excellent. To the point, there were things that were not there on the PPT, and you were actually presenting the PPT. That is appreciated. What,
Thank you, ma'am.
as I said, you need to do is a little more confidence in the voice. I know it will come when you do it face to face. This virtual thing is a little hindrance that comes in between. Uh, I don't know algorithms, Dhruv. Which algorithm should I?
Ma'am, I was answering Mike's question.
Okay,
Means
please
in
mention that
C
who we
language.
are answering. Fine, but
Okay, ma'am. Thank
you
you.
need just confidence. That's it. All right.
Oh, sure, ma'am.
And one thing I'd like to mention a special thank you to Dhruv, who's been a very active participant. In case we meet in 2020 or whenever we meet in future, you deserve a chocolate for it. Okay, you've been keeping a watch on his voice is breaking, the internet is not good. You're dropping a message and you're informing the person. You know, you're taking it up as your own personal duty so that your friend's presentation does go good. The reason I was not interrupting is I did not want him to lose his confidence over the technical issues that were happening, because I could judge his performance from the beginning only, right? But Dhruv, you deserve a chocolate. So when we meet, you really would be given one extra apart from what we give to the class, right? So we would be able to have one more presentation. That's enrollment number 44 if he or she is present. He, if yeah. So we'll
Yes,
have
ma'am.
only one more right now, and the remaining. So we're stopping at which number? Let me see. We're stopping at number 11. So in the next lab, we'll start with enrollment number 12. In case the other people whom we have missed join us, then they'll have to do their presentation afterwards, after we finish the entire order. Okay, we'll not allow anybody to take your turn first. So the last presentation that we have today is by enrollment number 44. You may start whenever you are ready.
Yes, ma'am. Good morning, everyone. I am going to give book review of the book The Story of My Experiments with Truth by you everyone know the father of nation Sri Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi. And here is some basic information about the book titled The Story of My Experiment with Truth, author Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi, written and serialized 25th November 1922 to 1925 to 3rd February 1929. Translator is Mohan Mahadev Desai, country India, published by Navjivan Publishing House, Ahmedabad, India. And pages are for hardbound and paperback both. And here is a photo of the book. And the summary of the book is the story of my experiment with Ruth is the autobiography of Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi, covering his life from earlier childhood through to 1921. And it was written in weekly installments and published in his Chandal Navjivan from 1925 to 1929. Its English translation also appeared in installments in his other journal Young India. It was initialized at the instances of Swami Anand and other close co-workers of Gandhiji, who encouraged him to explain the background of his public campaignings. And in summary, starting with his birth and parentage, Gandhiji given Gandhiji has given remis- reminiscence of childhood, child marriage, relations with his wife and parents, experiences at the school, his study tour to London, efforts to be like the England gentleman, experiments in directives, his going to South Africa, his experiences of color prejudice, his quite of Dharma, social work in Africa, return to India, and his law and study work for politics, awakening, and social activities. The book ends abruptly after a discussion of the Nagpur session of the Congress in 1915. The book has 5 parts. Every part have different parts of Gandhiji's life. This is a part of one book. The first part narrates of Gandhiji's childhood, his experiments with eating meals, smoking, drinking, stealing, and subsequent atonements. Gandhiji got married at the age of 13. In his words, it is my painful duty to have to record here my marriage at the age of 13. I can see no more arguments in support of such a preposteriously early marriage. Gandhiji wrote the book to deal with his experiments for truth, his disdain for physics training at school, particularly gymnastics, has also been written about in this part. And after part 2, in part 2, Gandhiji went to the Africa. Gandhiji repeatedly experienced the sting of humiliation during his long African journey. He was also thrown off the train when he didn't agree to move from his first class seat, which he paid for. Gandhiji became, although Gandhiji's legal work soon started to keep him busy, he found time to read some of Tolstoy's work. Both Tolstoy and Gandhiji considered themselves followers of the Sermon on Testament from the New Testament. Gandhiji became known among Indians all around the world as Mahatma or Great Soul from during his struggle against inequality and racial discrimination in South Africa. And in part 3, in third part, Gandhiji made a brief return to India and returned to his wife and children. Between 1901 and 1906, he also changed another aspect of his personal life by achieving brahmacharya. Gandhiji went all the way to London in 1909 and gathered enough support among the British to convince Smoot to eliminate the law in 1913.
Now, further, the importance of industrial labor from India was be passed phased out by 1920. In July 1940, Gandhiji sailed for Britain, now admired as Mahatma and known throughout the world for the success of Satyagraha. And in part 4, Gandhiji was in England when World War One started. As First World War continues, Gandhiji also became involved in recruiting men for British Army. And however, the British saw the event as a trigger point and reason for the arrest. He also interfered whenever he saw violence. When a group of Ahmedabad mill workers went to strike and become violent, he resolved to fast until they returned to peace. Through this situation, Gandhiji discovered the fast as one of his most effective weapons in last years and set a precedent for later action as part of Satyagraha. Gandhiji, who have never encouraged or encouraged this type of conduct, condemned the action of violent crowds and retired into the period of fasting and prayer as a response to the violent outburst. However, the British saw the event as a trigger point and reason for his arrest. And the last part 5, the British authorities placed Gandhiji on trial for sedition and sentenced him to 6 years in prison, marking the first time that he faced prosecuted in India. Because of Gandhiji's fame, the judge C.N. Broomfield assisted to impose a harsher punishment. He considered Gandhiji clearly guilty as charged. Despite the fact Gandhiji admitted this guilty and even went as far as requesting the heaviest possible sentence. And Gandhiji realized that independence and that the British had lost the will and power to sustain their empire. But he always acknowledges that Indians could not rely simply on the weakening of Britain in order to achieve independence. He believed that Indians had to become morally ready for independence. According to him, that is why the world's praise failed to move me. Indeed, it very often stings me. To conquer the subtle patience is far harder than the physical conquest of the world by the force of arms. Gandhiji writes in farewell to the readers a suitable conclusion for an autobiography that he never intended to be an autobiography, but a tale of experiments with life and with truth. And in last recommendation for this book, everyone should read this book. This book is about Gandhiji's lifestyle and their simply lifestyle. How they helped our nation become independent. He become our nation independent without any violence. The language of book is so straightforward for understanding and book available in many languages. And ratings of book is 4.5 out of 5. Thank you.
Thank you for the presentation. That was nice. Just a little advice, don't just read what is there on the slide, but also give information like what is not there on the slide. Okay, some information you keep to yourself, which people can't see, but so that why do you have to keep information to yourself? So that people listen to you. Okay, that's an advice I give to everybody, that always keep some information to be there with you so that people don't read and people listen as well, because they know you are going to tell something new. Right, so let's take the attendance. People who are pending today will be starting with order number 12. Right, we have done till order 11. So attendance, enrollment number 2.
Yes, ma'am.
5, 8, 9, 10,
Yes, ma'am.
12, 16, 17, 19,
Yes, ma'am.
24, 25, 26,
Yes, ma'am.
29, 31, 34, 35, 38, and 44. Last but not the least, 46.
Present, ma'am.
So whatever is pending or whosoever is pending will be completing. We'll be completing it in the next session. And I've got a question. The name of the application or the website which I was telling is called, it's called Prezi. You are computer students, so you might find a version of it with you, right? So we're ending over here.